everybody watching and listening. Today on 3 to 4 Minutes with a Duck, I've got, I keep saying this, one of my favorite ducks. I think all my ducks must be my favorite ducks, but I've got Master Sergeant Benjamin Walton. Sergeant Walton, thank you for your time. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay. I am Master Sergeant Benjamin Walton, Chinese linguist. Been in a little over 13 years. Went to DLI back to learn Chinese back in 2007. That's where I met my wife, but we were not a DLI marriage. We only met there. We got married years later here in Fort Meade. And she's a Chinese linguist as well. She's in the 7th IS right now. Pity her. She does not like life as much as I do, so good for us. We've lived a typical Chinese linguist life, Hawaii, Fort Meade, but with a couple good stops in between at DLI for the Chinese advanced course, which was a year-long back then in the PCS, and also 4 years as an instructor. We have 4 kids, 2 dogs, live in Bowie, enjoying life right now, can't really complain. So happy to be here and definitely happy to be a duck.
Awesome. I'm glad you're a duck. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge your mustache. I managed not to with Chief Peña or Sergeant Thien, but this morning in the first Sergeant Council meeting, it came to my attention that Chief Ross has removed his stash. His COVID stash is gone. Yep. So I was very concerned, as you can imagine, for Chief Peña, because he was, referencing Chief Ross as like his motivation to keep that mustache on. What I'm telling you is that he needs you and Sergeant Thien more than ever because Chief Ross's mustache is gone.
I'll have to reach out to Chief Peña, make sure he's doing okay after this.
Yeah, I think we all should. Chief Peña, I know you're out there listening. Hang on to that stash. You have supporters still around you. All right, first question. If you had to give up one thing for the rest of your life, between these two things, which would you give up? Washing your hair or brushing your teeth?
Oh, 100% washing my hair. You can get accidental washing your hair. Brushing your teeth, though, you'll smell. I mean, have you been around somebody who doesn't brush their teeth, or just
I got an 8-year-old.
Rot? That'll be painful, I think, too. I mean,
that's true.
Forgo washing my hair. I'll shave my head or something like that. I'm no longer washing my hair. Then no hair. But you don't brush your teeth, and your teeth are just nasty. It's painful. It's gross. You stink.
I don't mean to discriminate, but I always seem to ask the wrong questions to the wrong gender. Like, this would be a good question for someone that, like, of my persuasion that has hair. Like, because I don't know that just shaving my head would be that easy of a solution to not washing my hair. Like, you got good hair, so I know that it would be a sacrifice. But
I don't want to shave anyway. I've got a stupid looking shaven head. It's lumpy. I've hit my head. I'm tall, so I've hit my head. I don't know how many times. It's scarred. It's lumpy. It doesn't look good. The last time I did it was a basic, and I will never do it again if I don't have to, because it's not a good looking dome. So I would prefer not to.
But if it's that or your teeth, I would go with. I would shave my head over losing my teeth or not brushing my teeth too. It's funny. The commander had the same fears when haircuts stopped, because he's like, I'll shave my head before I let it grow out and get all crazy. I have to get my uniform. But he's like, but I got a real bad head for a bald guy. I wonder if it's the same reason, if it's because his tall self. My husband's got scars all over his head because he's a relatively tall dude.
It's legit. I think my head is numb to it. I'll go and take a shower, and I'll be washing my hair, and I'll feel scabs on my head. I'm like, when did I do this? I don't even remember hitting my head there. It's not even. Or I'll walk through a doorway, and I'll bang my head, and somebody will be like, "Did you just hit your head?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I did actually." I was like, "I didn't even realize I did. Just a numb skull, I guess."
I don't mean to joke about domestic violence, but if you are making excuses and you're not safe at home, please let me know, and we'll get you the help that you need. We'll talk later. Yeah, blink twice.
Later.
All right. Would you rather be a hobbit or an elf for 24 hours?
Woo! Hobbit or an elf? I think I'd rather be a hobbit, because hobbits, I call me not a nerd. I don't think I'm the typical incel nerd, so I'm not studied up on all the intricacies of hobbits and elves.
Elves.
ELV. Yeah. Okay, so, but hobbits, from what I understand of the little bit I saw from watching Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, I think one time each maybe, is hobbits like to be alone, stay in their little hole houses, and enjoy life like that, eating and stuff like that. And I think I like eating. I think I could live in a little whole house by myself and eat some food and just enjoy life. I think that sounds like my ideal life, actually.
I'm digging it, and I like it. And I've often referred to Chief Burton as a tall hobbit. You would be the tallest of the hobbits.
I would be a tall hobbit.
And you thought the same thing I did, and that's like eating was one of the first things I was like, oh, hobbits, yeah, I want to eat and not wear shoes. I think would be the drive for me. But those little hole houses. I guess I'm ignoring the elf part because pointy ears and long hair. Like I'm not sure.
What else did they do?
I don't know. Unless it's Will Ferrell's elf. And then I would go with that.
Santa's elves?
Yeah.
Okay, if we could go the way of Santa's elves, that might be kind of cool. That's a little bit tempting over a hobbit almost.
Yeah, I have a deep affection for Will Ferrell's Santa elf.
I gotta wear green tights and pointy shoes for a day, and it's normal.
Okay. I don't know that even then it would be, but I would join you in your Santa elf crusade. Just don't eat any, like the gum is not candy like that you find under the
spaghetti with syrup on it and
candy. Love it. Yeah. After you survive the apocalypse, what will your job be? And congrats on surviving the apocalypse. We'll start there.
Yeah, that'd be. And this may be a pertinent question coming up with how 2020 is going. After I survive the apocalypse, I think my job will be to corral and entertain children while everybody else does, because that's pretty much my job around here. My job is to entertain and corral the 4 kids, which I do a good job at, while my wife is actually the productive one. She takes care of anything that needs to happen, makes the calls it needs to, and I'm the one who just keeps the kids entertained and alive, and I think I'm pretty good at that.
I like it. That's good. And now I know that if my children and I survive the apocalypse, we got babysitter Ben.
100%. I think I'm one of the best.
Awesome.
One of the best. If anybody, you have to add to the 4 that I already have, but more is a party.
Do you like, this is not on my list of questions, but I'm going there. Do you like other people's kids?
Generally,
yeah.
For the most part, yeah. I got a coworker, a friend of mine who's been there throughout our whole career. He's a civilian now and actually works in the division that I work with. And we have him over for lunch. It's been a few months now, obviously, but his kids I've known since they were little teeny kids and since they were born. And whenever they come over, they basically spend all their time just harassing me and showing me that they know how to moonwalk or do a Rubik's Cube. And they spend more time harassing me than my kids. That's awesome. I like other people's kids for the most part, unless they're obnoxious, but that's rare. Most kids are okay.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. When I was a younger mom, I had my daughter when I was 22, so there wasn't a lot of time that I was an adult and not a mom, but I don't think I ever had any interest in kids, period. And then when I had my own, I was like, yeah, I love mine. I don't like anybody else's. But I think the older I've gotten, the more I've realized like other people's kids are so much fun. Because you're not really responsible. Like you get the benefit of getting to hang out with kids, which is probably more my intellectual level anyway. And then you don't have the responsibility of feeding, clothing, and dealing with all their bad stuff. So temporary caregiver I could get down with.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I love being an uncle. It's fun being an uncle, playing with them. And then if they are having problems, be like, all right, parent, deal with them. But for the most part, I love being an uncle. And I think I'm one of the fun uncles that they deal with.
Yeah, you strike me as like cool uncle, like that you would be the one that would be like.
Yeah, I've got some older siblings with older kids. Actually, my oldest niece joined the Army last year, and so I talk with her a lot. And she was one of my first nieces. But yeah,
that's awesome. I have a nephew on my side, and then quite a few nieces and nephews on my husband's side. But they're all young. Like our kids are older, the older ones. We've got from 16 down to almost 8. So, but yeah, the few times I've gotten to be cool aunt, I totally dig cool aunt. But I like you, I had close military friends that are considered family that had young kids that we stayed close to, and, Aunt Emily and Uncle Joe and whatever else. So,
yeah.
All right. That's a good job. I have one more question and then I'll turn it over to you. If you
Sounds
had
good.
to become an inanimate object for a year, what would you choose to be?
An inanimate object. I think I would choose to be. I could choose to be. I think a fighter aircraft.
Ooh, you could
I
fly.
think you can fly. Um, you go fast. You see cool things. Maybe you do cool things. Maybe you get shot down. That would kind of suck. Maybe you break. But for the most part, I think I've always had a fascination with flying birds, eagles, flying. When I was younger, sad story. When I was a teenager, my goal to grow up was to be a fighter pilot. That's what I wanted to do. I grew up all over, moved all over, but at the time when I was a teenager, freshman in high school, I lived in Texas, and we lived right near the Dallas Fort Worth Airport there. And a bunch of our neighbors were pilots that flew there. And so, and a lot of them were prior Air Force or Navy aviators. And so we'd have block parties. We were friends with them, be like, I want to grow up and be a fighter pilot. They're like, cool, dude. Just get good grades, do good, all these things, go to one of the academies. And, if you want to be a fighter pilot, don't grow taller than like 6'2". And I'm like,
And it
cool,
happened.
no problem. My dad was 6 feet. I was like, I think at the time I was 6 feet. I was like, I'm probably good. And then my sophomore year, I grew from like 6'1" to 6'5" over the course of like 4 months. And I was like, screw this noise. I hate it. I don't want to fly anyway. Screw pilots. But the fascination with aircraft and flying is just the thing that I've always had. I don't so much enjoy sitting in the back of a plane and being a passenger, but I think flying and just being part of that experience would be awesome. So yeah, being a fighter jet inanimate object for a year, I think would be pretty cool.
That's a way cooler inanimate object than I thought of.
What do you think of?
A webcam. Partially because we're currently doing a Zoom interview, and then the other part because I think it would be like I like watching and I like listening and I like just kind of being around people, and that I think would, if I had to be in an app. But yeah, yours is way cool.
But for like a webcam, if you like watching stuff, a webcam gets ignored 99% of the day almost. There's not even anybody around. Wouldn't you want to be like a security camera somewhere cool?
I didn't think it through. I'm not. No, whatever. Well, especially, yeah, I guess you're right. Because nowadays people have those little safety flipper things because they think we're all watching them on their webcams.
Close it up.
Like,
oh, I can't see.
Yeah, bummer. I'll rethink that before I get turned into an inanimate object. But my stepson's also a giant person. My husband's 6'2". His ex-wife is 5'9" or 5'10", I think, and my stepson is like 6'4", 16 years old. He used to have, he had hopes and dreams of being a naval aviator and going to the academy. Sorry, kid. Now he wants to do some kind of video game development or be a programmer or something. And there's no limit, right? Yeah, that works.
You can have big ceilings and chairs and stuff. It's cool.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this has been a blast, but I think we're probably done. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Any parting thoughts, words of wisdoms you want to share with folks watching and listening?
Just one of the things that I've thought of is I've heard all these things and just giving shout outs or, good advice. Is this kind of goes out to basically senior leaders, but also just any leaders along the way, is just recognizing how important your voices, your recommendations. Everybody looks for awards to recognize their high performers, but just remember how much your words can be. Just saying in private or in person or in public, but saying that you are doing a great job and I appreciate what you're doing has such a great impact. I think throughout my career, I've won awards throughout my career as I've done things, and it's great, but the most impactful that I can say, the most motivating, the ones that have changed me the most and pushed me to excel more has been the times when I've had opportunities where I've heard my leaders speak to me and say, hey, you're doing great. I really think you're ready for this next rank. Let's help you get there. I really want to put you in for a award because you're doing awesome things. It's those words, not the actual awards, that have actually moved me and pushed me to work harder, is when I've heard somebody who I respect and trust say that they appreciated me, that they think that I'm doing great. And so use those. Don't do it, superfluously or, just toss it out there. If you do it a bunch, it means nothing. I've had those supervisors too, who just walked around telling everybody they're great and awesome. And then when you hear you're great and awesome from them, so it's something you say to everybody. But when you have somebody who just will pull you aside and say, just so you know, you're doing great. I see it. and you're doing awesome, to me, that means more than an award. Honestly, it really does. Awards, they come and go, and I don't remember who gives them to me, but I remember the words of really good leaders speaking to me, and that's moved me to be what I am. So remember that when you're thinking of your troops, pay attention to what they're doing. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It can be a coworker as well. I see what you're doing. You may not be getting the awards, but you're doing awesome stuff, and we see it. That type of stuff, I think, moves people more than even the awards do. So the awards are great for careers, but your words are great for actual people. And so keep that in mind, especially throughout all that's going on right now. Use your words for good.
I like it. That's spot on. And I think, yeah, we get caught up, both as airmen and leaders at all levels. We get caught up on the trophy, the bullet, the EPR, the strat, and all that, and then we get so busy that we're not sharing that with airmen directly. And I think, you touched on one thing is, we can't all win awards. We can't all get a strat. There's limits to all of those things. But if you even just sharing and not in a braggy kind of way, but the investment of time that you're putting into your airmen and letting them know, like, I don't know how this is going to end, but you're worth the time to acknowledge. I think we could all do a little bit better with that. Because I know I'm like you. I think I've probably felt more appreciated and more valued in the times where people are saying, hey, look, let's get you there. Like, and you're doing awesome, and let's make sure that you get recognized for that, far more than what happens after the board and the bullets and all that crap. Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome advice for everyone. And like you said, coworkers, subordinates, letting the people that you follow know when you appreciate them too, I think is really important. India Flight, for their Power Hour, did a piece on appreciation and making sure that you are, verbally sharing your appreciation with people in your life. It makes a huge impact. Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate you, and that's not a lie at all. Like I said, you're one of my favorite ducks, and thanks for giving me the time today to interview you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks.